So with 3 by 3 determinants, we can actually do Cramer's rule for a 3-variable system of linear equations. And so here's how Cramer's rule sets up with 3 variables. X is still dx over d, but the dx on top, we take the x column and put the constants down this column. So the constants are the letters d now in this case. A's go for the x's, B's go for the y's, and C goes for the z coefficients. So for dx, we put the constants down the x column. Y equals dy over d. dy, we put the constants down the y column. Z is equal to dz over d, and we put the constants for dz down the z column. So we have to do 4 determinant calculations in order to make this work. So let's start off by saying x is dx over d, and we're going to figure out what those are. Y is dy over d, z is dz over d. Okay, so let's calculate each of those one by one. We'll start with the determinant d. So I got to put the x coefficients down the first column. So looking at the equations, the x coefficients are 1, 1, and 2. Second column gets 2, 4, and 3. Third column gets -1, -2, and 1. So we have to calculate this 3 by 3 determinant. Let's go ahead and set up dx. Same idea, but down the x column I'm going to put -4, -6, and 3 from the constants in the equation. The second column stays the same, third column stays the same. For dy, we'll put those constants down the y column. So -4, -6, 3. First column is still 1, 1, 2. Third column is still -1, -2, and 1. And then lastly for dz, first column, second column, but then the third column I put the -4, -6, and 3 down that column. Alright, so now let's calculate each of these determinants. And the first one, like we did before, we take and we write the first 2 columns over here on the side. And then we start multiplying diagonally down and to the right. So 1 times 4 times 1 is 4. 2 times -2 times 2 added is plus -8. Then -1 times 1 times 3 goes plus -3. And then we start multiplying up and to the right and subtracting. So 2 times 4 times -1 subtracted equal to minus -8. Multiplying up and to the right and subtracting, we do minus -6. Then multiplying it this direction, 1 times 1 times 2, minus 2. So lots of numbers there, but when you put them all together, it's going to come out to be 5. So for the next determinant, again, we got to put the first 2 columns here on the side, like so. And then we start multiplying diagonally. 4 times -4 times 1, -16. 2 times -2 times 3, add that number, plus -12. And then we multiply this direction. -1 times -6 times 3 would be, we get a plus 18. And we multiply up diagonally, start subtracting. 3 times 4 times -1, we subtract -12. 3 times -2 times -4, subtracted. we do a minus 24, and then we multiply 1 times negative 6 times 2, subtract that number, minus negative 12. And we put this all together, we get negative 10. Okay, and come down to this next determinant. We multiply our numbers together here. We start off with 1 times negative 6 times 1, so we get negative 6. The next number would be plus 16. The next number would be plus negative 3. And then we multiply up diagonally, subtract those numbers. So the next one would be minus 12. And then we multiply up diagonally again, subtract the number, be minus negative 6. We multiply up diagonally, finally we get the last number, minus negative 4. So we put this all together and we'll get another positive 5. Now the last determinant down here, we do basically the same process all over again. Start by multiplying this direction. We're going to start off with 12. Then down this direction, we'll have plus negative 24. And then we'll have plus negative 12. Okay, and then we multiply the other direction, we'll get minus negative 32. And then the next number would be minus negative 18. And the last number would be minus 6. So that all calculates to give us 20. Okay, so now we can calculate x, y, and z from these 4 different numbers. So x is going to be equal to dx over d, which is going to be equal to negative 10 divided by 5, which would be negative 2. dy divided by d would be 5 divided by 5, which is 1. dz divided by d would be 20 divided by 5, which is 4. So our solution then for x, y, and z would be negative 2, 1, 4.